All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Managing Partners Podcast. My name is Kevin Daisy, and I'll be your host. Also, the founder of Array Digital. We also go by Array Law. It's our brand for working with law firms. I got a special guest here today, and who's also a client of ours. We're actually in the process right now of building their brand new website. Rachel Thompson, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm excited to have you on. And of course, we've spoken quite a bit. And we're working on a new website for you guys. And you have some changes over there at the firm that you've gone through. And I thought this would be a great time to have you on the show and discuss those things. So just for everyone tuning in, if you want to check her out, their website is poarchthompsonlaw.com. It's on the bottom of your screen. If you're listening, her last name is, it's Poarch thompsonlaw.com. You can check that out. If you are watching this now, it's probably her old website that's up. But by the time you get to see this, her new one should be in place. So take a look at that. Look into Rachel. Look into her firm. They're amazing at what they do. They're based here in Virginia. So learn more about them there. And of course, we'll learn a lot more about her right now. So Rachel, tell us at first, what made you become an attorney and get into this practice?
Yeah. So I'm kind of one of those people who always knew I was going to be a lawyer. From second grade, I went to Washington, D.C. My parents took us on a family trip, and I just remember being taken around on tours and stuff and kept hearing the name lawyer. And I was like, Dad, what is that? If you know my dad, he's very loquacious. He loves to just talk. And I was like, you know what? It's going to be easier for me to just do it than to try to understand what it is. It was just in me at that point. And then fast forward 10th grade, my mom is from South Africa and my dad's actually Jamaican, but my mom became a naturalized citizen. And so I went to her swearing in ceremony, her oath ceremony. And I was just amazed. I just remember probably my jaw was dropped, like all these people crying and waving flags. And what does that mean for you, Mom? Like, are you no longer a South African? So the whole thing, just the whole scene, I can even see it right now, was just amazing. And so I said, I want to be able to do that.
That's
I
awesome.
want to help people. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Then fast forward again, I went to the DR on a missions trip in high school and fell in love with Spanish. The Dominican Republic is so much. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. So much like Jamaica, which is where my dad's from. So, and I've been there several times, but they spoke Spanish. So I said, whatever I'm going to be doing, I'll be speaking Spanish as well. So it was kind of like building blocks, And then I went to Liberty Law School and graduated in 2012.
Okay.
And in 2012, I started interning for Christine Poarch,
Awesome.
founder of Poarch Thompson Law. And all of that I've always wanted to do, the first day in her office, I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. And so later on, she offered me the job and I stayed in Virginia and here I am.
And she's awesome too, if you get to meet her. I got to go meet Rachel and her in Roanoke. Was actually on a family trip, and I'm like, I'm popping in. I'm going to meet with them for lunch, and just a fun office, great group of people, and it was nice to go sit down with you guys. So, and Roanoke is beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
That whole area, and you're in Salem, right?
We are in Salem, yes.
Yeah.
Which Yep, the valley.
Yeah, but really nice, beautiful spot. And you think, Virginia in the middle of nowhere in the mountains, here's this law firm that's very successful and is bustling and has an office full of folks and is doing a great job of serving a wide area around their location. So, so cool. So you got with Rachel, you're there, you stayed there. I mean, I'm sorry, with Christina. And so she's now put you in charge, if you will.
Yeah. As of January this year, I'm sole owner, so it's exciting. Obviously, Christina's still on board with me and is there when I need her, and has been such an encouragement through the whole process. But it is exciting to kind of take it under my wing and kind of make it my own, even though so much of my own is from her. So yeah, it's just an exciting season for both of us.
Yeah, it's exciting for her to take her next challenge in life, and to have you take ownership and take over the firm. And so just talking about that, to other managing partners tuning in, going through that change and kind of like, what's the plan? Because you have existing customers and people that know the brand and the firm, how you have to tread lightly and how you're going to roll that out and make sure that's done in a way that's not disruptive, I guess. And I know you guys are currently working on that too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's different if I didn't work for her for 10 years before we made this change, so there's lots of times where partners come in and they've never worked with each other before, which is a fine way to do it as well. But, we've worked together so well for 10 years that it was almost seamless. It's been seamless, over the years it was incremental. So, yeah, it's fortunately not too drastic and not too much of a huge change.
That's good. Yeah. Well, I'm sure you're pretty dialed in with all the clients and they know who you are. So, but pulling her out of the limelight a little bit and moving you more up into it.
Yeah.
As time goes by, I assume that's what you're planning to do. So, okay. So let's talk a little bit more about exactly what you do at your firm, what you specialize in, and what makes you unique. You got us a little hint of that with your mom and Dominican Republic and Spanish and stuff like that. But tell us about the firm itself.
Yeah, so we do all immigration and some adoption as well. In the adoption piece, we started off doing international adoptions, and it was just a natural segue to also do domestic. But yeah, we do. The cool thing is we do all immigration. I mean, from removal proceedings, victim visas, family-based, employment-based, everything in between, we do it. The really cool thing is we're kind of nestled in this area in southwestern Virginia, and we have a lot of immigrants in this area as well. So it just makes sense to offer services to people who live near us. They don't need to be going to Richmond or Northern Virginia. We are right here. And we pride ourselves in what we do, and we pride ourselves in doing it well.
Yeah, that's excellent. So, but I think, the cool thing I think too, you've kind of established what you want and where you want to be and who you want to help, the boundaries, whether geographic. But then also, I know there's a lot of firms out there that don't offer, don't have Spanish speaking or a translated website. I know we're rolling out some new translation for your new site, but you already have that in place now. So I just think some of the things you guys have done there is really cool to see. But so you don't do Richmond, and if anyone knows Virginia, if you're listening, you guys kind of stay on the Richmond and I guess southwest from there.
Yeah, and we have lots of clients coming from West Virginia, because we're pretty close to the border, and then also North Carolina, because there's lots of areas that border North Carolina with our clients living in the southern part of Virginia. So sure. Yeah, our radius is pretty wide.
Excellent. Okay. So give us a little bit of makeup of the firm, how many folks you have there, everyone working from the office there, anyone working from home. What's the situation with that?
Yes. So we have, oh my goodness, I always forget how many, but I would say 18, 19 full-time. And then we have several of counsel attorneys. Okay. And of the 18, we have 3 full-time attorneys, and then about 10 paralegals, and the rest support staff.
Excellent.
Yeah, and obviously each of our paralegals kind of specialize in one area of the law of immigration. Everyone right now we're still not remote, but we're not fully remote. As of February, we went back to part-time remote, which the cool thing about our firm and Christine and her husband Joey is we're so technologically advanced that when COVID hit, we really didn't flinch too much, which I'm so thankful for. Lots of firms, had issues at that point with how are we going to do this remote? But the really cool thing is we were already built for that. And so I used to work remote from time to time before COVID. But the nice thing is we're able to offer that. So we do part-time remote. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday mornings, everyone is in office. And then after that, and Thursdays and Fridays, they can determine their schedule as they see fit.
Excellent. So when I actually had Christine on the podcast back in November when she recorded, and I remember her telling me all that, and I got to meet, Joey, her husband, and stuff like that as well. And she mentioned the same thing. Yeah, I didn't miss a beat. You guys were set up for it. We were the same way too. I think a lot of people have those questions. What'd you do? How'd it go? For us, it was video calls and conference calls like this were already established, and most of my employees are in different states. But for a law firm, that's not very typical. And I talked to a lot of law firms, of course, and a lot of, they're still having challenges with it. That they're trying to get people to come back in, and they do have the technology set up now, but most of them have gone hybrid or whatever, which is cool. But a lot of them struggled with it because they had to kind of jump and try to figure it out pretty quickly. Some too were just like didn't change anything. Stayed in the office, just dealt with it, and they were so used to the traditional way of doing things that they just were not interested in changing. So good on you guys for doing that, especially being in the middle of Virginia. You're high tech. So tell me some of what are you guys doing well that's worked for you with marketing and growing the firm?
So one thing we've always done, and I just think it has worked the best, is we just start to change hearts and minds and get our name out there by doing small meetings, presentations. In Spanish, we call them charlas. So I, 6 months in, went to this little tiny church in Charlottesville. I met the pastor through a friend of someone who went to school at Liberty. So it was like a friend of a friend of a friend, basically. And I went there, and it's crazy. Yesterday, the client that I met there came in for their citizenship. And if you know this long story of how they even got there, it was a 10-year road for them. And so it just, from there, the word spread out. I came back, I did another charla, and this time, instead of 25 people, there were 50 people. And then from there, I had someone in that community have a work event. And so then I went to the work event and I did a charla there. I did a presentation there, just explain immigration. What are the myths? What are the truths? Immigration in 50 minutes. What do people need to know? And so I was able to do that. And it's been really cool to see how it has spread from there. So our marketing is word of mouth, word of mouth, word of mouth.
That is awesome. I love that. And it's like, that's pretty unique, I think, for what most would do. And I think maybe it's unique to your practice area, but you couldn't do that for some other law practices maybe. But if you're a estate planning or a divorce attorney or business attorney, I would assume that, they could do something very similar to that, educate. Because let's just say everyone needs estate planning, right? Everyone needs a will, everyone needs a trust. So if you have an audience of folks that show up to want to learn more, that's a great way to get exposure. And maybe those folks that showed up just didn't know enough to take a next step or what to do. And then you gave them enough information to go, I need to reach out and take care of this.
Yeah. And there's so much. I mean, you Google immigration, there's just so much coming from every end, and you want to know, okay, what's true? There's so many taboo questions that people have, and so it's just, it's really cool to see faces light up after my presentation. They're like, I just never knew, and so they just they will have friends that say, hey, you should have this girl. You should, Rachel, you should come and do a presentation for them. So I'm an extrovert. I love people. I love meeting people. I love people's stories. So that's also part of my job that I love.
That's awesome. Yeah, that helps to be able to get out and talk to people and get out of your comfort zone. And I think most people think all lawyers are just like these, get up in front of a crowd and take over, but most are not.
Yeah.
And most don't go to court, and most don't, do that kind of stuff. So it's actually pretty interesting how many introverted attorneys that I've met. So you have a superpower then. This is Rand. I'm actually from the Eastern Shore of Virginia. Have you guys done anything in that area?
Not as much.
There would be a lot of opportunity there, I would think, but
for sure.
Yeah. A lot of farming and things like that. But most people don't even know where that's at, especially if you're listening and you're not from Virginia.
We need to get out that way. We need to get out that way for sure.
Cool. So let's change the subject a little bit. What, now that you've taken ownership, I know you're probably trying to settle in. I know you're working with my team and you're slam busy. But with that said, what's your plans? What's the growth plans look like? What's the next year, 5 year? Do you have any big goals that you're working on?
Yeah, I mean, the growth plan is to keep growing so long as people in our area, immigrants are in our area, are being served. And so if that is growing, then we are going to grow. I actually just hired my first hire solo this week, and I'm really excited to have her join the team. It's another paralegal. But I saw one area particularly growing. And so I said, we need to have support there, and so it's exciting. It's nerve-wracking. It's all of it in between. But the plan is, yes, to keep growing so long as there's a need.
I love it. That's awesome. And I think there probably will be. So you shouldn't have a problem with that. Yeah. Hiring, man. Whew, we're hiring some folks right now. We're almost 20, 25, I think. And, it's always a challenge, but it's fun. Yeah. Part of it.
Yeah. No, and especially these times, 2022, we're kind of coming out of a pandemic. There's what they call the Great Migration. People are just realizing that they have different needs or they're changing jobs. So we've waded through the waters, and I think we're in a good position. Obviously, almost every firm, every business has been hit in one way or another, given what's been thrown at us in the last year. But I'm really proud of Poarch Thompson Law and what we've been able to manage in that time. Yeah,
that's excellent. You guys are doing great. Second, just a random question. This is not really on my list, but your hiring process. What does that look like for others that are listening and tuning in? I know we have a pretty defined, long process for hiring, and when you're small, that's really important. I think to every hire matters so much. But what's the process look like that? From putting out a job ad to getting someone in the door.
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot of word of mouth too, through trying to get someone in the door. Obviously, yes, we do Indeed, and also the more functional ways. But when someone comes in the door, we used to, when we were smaller, had everyone interview this one person. And so in our small little conference room, there's like 9 of us huddled around one person. It was kind of intimidating, but I think that says a lot. It's not very top down, because I'm not usually the one that's going to be working directly with this person that I'm hiring. So obviously, yes, if I'm hiring an attorney, I'm going to be super involved. But most of the positions we're hiring now are kind of staff and paralegals. And I want someone in that room that knows the position, that would be working well with this person. And so for me, that's really important. In fact, the last 2 hires, I wasn't even in their first go round, because I also think that people can get very nervous, or, they hear the word founder, owner, managing partner, and they get nervous. But the point is, it's important that there is input from all spheres in the business, not just me. And so I also give the work back to the people that are under me, to make sure that they have input as well, because this is ultimately going to be them who is training them, teaching them, working with them. So, yeah.
I love that. Yeah. So that's almost exactly our process. So I'm glad to hear that, that I think we're doing it right, but I think you're doing it right for sure too. But yeah, so we were the same way. We were like 9 people or 8 people. It was all hands on deck. Let's go take them to lunch and everything. And Yeah, but now it's a little bit more of a screening process. And then if they get past that, then the manager, the person that's going to actually work with them, they meet with them. And then if they are like, hey, this person's awesome, well, they do a quick 15 and then a 45-minute, and then they pass it on to me, my partner, and say, hey, this person's good to go. And so me and my partner meet with them, called the founders meeting, which is maybe intimidating, but and we don't care about what their skills are, because we assume that other person has done that.
Right.
We want to know who they are and if they're going to be a cultural fit.
Right.
And if they're aligning with what we want to, how we're growing the company and where we're going. So, and then they get our blessing, then it goes from there to do all the check the boxes and stuff. But yeah, so I like that process, and we try to make it fun when we're talking to them versus, do you know how to do this and can you do that? So it worked out very well for us. And then that manager, or whoever that may be, has some ownership, and it's their decision more so than it is ours.
That's right.
Now, if we're like, hey, that person, I'm not sure, here's some red flags or something like that, but that usually doesn't happen by the time it gets to us. So,
yeah.
So
yeah, I think that's there's so much wisdom in doing it like that.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of places don't do it that way at all. We got another thing where we actually we ask candidates to send a video of why they want to work for our company, and that cuts out 95% of applicants that just won't take the time because they just want to submit for jobs. And so the few that we do get, they do who we are, they read about us, do they know our core values? So the ones that do submit videos are really actually like, I want to work here. And they'll talk about the podcast or things like that they see. And we're looking for that kind of stuff. We don't want them to just have a job,
Right.
So that's worked out really well. Not a very popular topic on LinkedIn, by the way. I had posted about, hey, what if you make candidates, not make them, but ask them to send a video. And I got people were like, you can't do that. Like, you should be interviewing, or you should be asking why they should hire or work with you versus the other way around. I was like, no.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Not when you get like 200 people submit for a social media position. So,
right.
So, well, I love what you guys are doing. I'm so excited for you, and happy to I'm happy you're here sharing this with us. And anything else big you want to share? How with the firm? Anything else that's going on or coming up? Anything we can promote for you?
Man, we are your go-to immigration firm. If you're in Virginia, even if you're in surrounding areas, give us a call. We're a boutique, unique firm. I love what we do. I'm so passionate about it. Many of the people that are here are passionate about it. So if you know someone who is looking for immigration help, give us a call.
I'll second that. So yeah, any other attorneys listening to this, referral opportunities. If you have a client, maybe you're in a different practice area, but of a client that has a family member, a situation or whatever in a surrounding state, or maybe it's not, maybe you just have questions, connect with Rachel. And I encourage every attorney on this show, connect with each other, reach out to each other. Her website address is down below. Is there any other way people can connect with you on social media or by email?
Yeah. We're on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram. My email is rachel@poarchlaw.com or Poarch Thompson Law, either one. And it'll get to me. And yeah, I love it. I mean, I think that it's so good for just for managing those who are managing to huddle with other managers. It's just so important because we're all in this together. And it's hard work, but it's worth it. It's in the end of the day, it's worth it. So thanks so much, Kevin.
No, absolutely. Thanks for coming on to share. And yeah, another good tip is, as an entrepreneur, if you will, you might not be able to go home or see your friends, and they also are entrepreneurs. So yeah, find other managing partners, find other, or just other entrepreneurs. There's usually local groups or or even national online groups that you can get part of. But yeah, seek answers from others that have probably already done it, and reach out to each other. So
yeah, thanks for providing the space, Kevin.
absolutely, no problem. For everyone tuning in, this will be available on our website, arraylaw.com/podcast. You can sort by Virginia and or immigration. You'll see Christine's and you'll see Rachel's pop up there as soon as we get that released. We also have the Managing Partners newsletter that goes out every week. We have 2 episodes that'll be pushed out on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. So look for Rachel there. And then, of course, it'll be on our YouTube channel and every platform for podcasting you can imagine. So Rachel will be famous next time you see her. So watch out for paparazzi. For us, Array Law, we help law firms grow their business. We help drive traffic, leads, organic, social media, tell their story, their brand, their websites. Actually, we have a new Spanish translation offering that Rachel actually already has built in for her website. And actually, it'll actually organically index on Google. So if you search in Spanish, you can come up for search results, which is a whole new frontier. And that's a big push for us to go into Spanish. I have 3 full-time fluent in Spanish employees. And so that's a big area that we're going into that I think is underserved, especially in the digital marketing space. So law firms out there that want to offer Spanish or already do that need help with that, that's a big area for us to focus on. So, and I might be pinging you, Rachel, because I don't speak Spanish myself.
Please do.
I'm gonna start learning though. So
yes. There you go.
But yeah, everyone, thank you so much. Rachel, thank you so much for tuning in today and sharing your story. I love what you guys are doing. Best of luck, and we'll see you soon.
Great. Thank you so much. Bye.
All right, guys. Everyone, we'll see you soon. Thank you.